Okay, in this video we'll discuss the three methods that we discussed in class on comparing fractions. That they parallel what we did with ordering fractions. This is what the video is going to focus on, ordering fractions, and this parallels what we did with comparing fractions. So first step, the first one is mental math, and I encourage the students to use mental math whenever possible. And we use benchmark numbers, 0, a half, 1, even fourths, 3/4 to try to determine where these numbers fit. Okay? So I know 1/4 is less than a half, 6/10 is bigger than half, 9/20 is bigger than half. So I know 1/4, if I'm putting this in order from the least to the greatest, 1/4 would have to be the smallest number. Okay? And then if I looked at 6/10 compared to 9/20, well, 5/10 is half, 6/10 would just be above a half. Okay? And if I look at 9/20, well, 20 out of 20 is a whole, or 1, and this is 19/20, so this is right below 1. This is right above a half, so it would have to go 6/10, 19/20. Okay, and the kids are encouraged to use mental math and these strategies whenever possible, and we've been doing a lot with that in class. Okay, if that method doesn't work for you, we can always change the fraction into a decimal. So, a fraction is a division problem, and we can turn that, and we usually round it to the nearest hundredth. Like I explained, we don't need all the place values. We can round them. Makes them a little bit less accurate, but for what we're trying to do with them, the rounding serves what we need to do. So, 2 divided by 3, that's 0.666666, and we'd round that to 67 hundredths. 4 divided by 7, 0.5714. We don't need all that. I'm going to round it to the nearest. Because then, it gives me enough information to see the difference between them. And then 1 divided by 5 is 2/10. And 2/10 is how many hundredths? Well, it's 20 hundredths, so we can put the 0 there. And then I can use the decimals to put the fractions in order. So it would be 1/5, 4/7, 2/3. Okay? And then the last way we can always find a common denominator. So when I've had to find a common denominator, I always like to set it up first. I'm setting it up. And what I talked about in comparing, it doesn't matter if you have 2 fractions and denominators or 1,000. You can always multiply the denominators together to get a common denominator. So if we do that, 2 times 4 is 8, times 8 is 64. Okay? So 2 times what gives us a 64? Well, 2 times 32. Okay? 4 times what gives us the 64? 4 times 16. And then 8 times 8. And if I was putting those in order, it would be 1/4, 3/8, 1/2. Okay? And we can also, a lot of the students, we've got to the point, well, 2 can go into 8, 4 can go into 8. So, you could use 8 as a common denominator. You have an unlimited amount of numbers that you can use for a common denominator. Okay? And, the 2 methods that most of the 5th graders use are these and these. We have a few that feel more comfortable with the common denominator. Whatever one works for you, I encourage you to use.